the bottom left side, we got a red Terran player. He is teamless. He is BYUN.
And his opponent up here in the top playing for DPG. He is Dark.
What's that team he's on? The crew? Crew? Indicate? No.
He is a player for the prestigious team. If I can pull up the Illigac fast enough. Dragon Phoenix. So I think that's a Chinese team. I think he was playing in the recent Chinese league, and that's why he's playing for them.
I thought Rogue as well joined them recently. They must like Zergs very much here on the Dragon Phoenix gamers. But he's also like, if you hover over his name, you can see his in-game clan, and that is like the, oh dear. Well, it's some sort of a crew. That is, that's what it is.
It is some sort of Korean crew,
Korean
of course.
Karate crew. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, definitely.
What are we expecting here? So far, both of them just kind of going with the regular stuff. I think, you know, it's hard to say. Both these players capable of just suddenly whipping out a massive attack at any point in time, just kind of trying to catch their opponents off guard. So far, it looks like in the first game, both of them just kind of feeling out the waters, kind of slowly approaching the subjective. All right, how are you going to be playing this series, and how am I going to be reacting to it? Let me just play the regular for now and see where that leads us. Gun here again. I mean, doesn't go that often for the scouting Reaper. Goes for the Marine first. Doesn't even scout with an SCV here, so he's playing a bit in the dark, but I mean, usually that works out for him.
Yeah, usually when you see him playing in the dark, that does mean that he already has that kind of idea of what he's going for, and the extraneous information just really doesn't help with the build that he's doing. So I think that's one of the big reasons that he doesn't like to scout in these kind of situations. And already we do see a little bit interesting here. Just the fact that I see a couple of additional Marines coming out. I think this is actually going to, I might be calling it a little bit early, but I think this is going to be a bit of a Hellbat timing.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, BYUN does like to just grab a good amount of Marines here. He hasn't put the factory on the reactor here. He's still making more Marines.
Yeah, so a little bit interested about that because you know, he's gonna have a lot of Marines here. He's definitely got the medevac as well.
I think I know what he's planning to do here. Perhaps when I see this, what I'm thinking is he's going to put the Marines in the medevac, try to bring them to the main base, and then as Dark is being distracted by those, he's going to try to drive in with the Hellions. That's what I think I'm seeing here. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely what it's looking like now. So he's going to just send this medevac into the opponent's main base, and like you said, is just going to try and get a couple of cheeky pro kills here. Dark, though, already being a little bit more... What?
We have a bit of the feedback again from you.
Oh, shoot.
Not quite sure where it's coming from, but you can wiggle the cord again, see if it gets fixed. Anyway, regardless, Roach is already here in production for Dark. It looks like he will be aiming to get himself a bit of aggression going as well. This should be scouted though, of course, with the medevac and the Hellions fairly in time. So far though, just kind of seeing the Zerglings and the Queens. So Dark doing a good job of keeping this hidden, kind of hiding his hand.
Yeah, I think this is a little bit better for him right now because obviously Roaches, they're not going to be good in the later stages of the game versus a big bio-heavy army, just because you do have way too much to do there, and the bio just scales really well. So if you're going to get some damage done with this, you are going to have to do it quickly before BYUN really ramps up to that 3 base, 5 racks economy, and Yeah, I think there is a good chance for him to do that because he has deflected literally everything BYUN has done right now. He just lost a drone somewhere, but... Okay, he's using the Raven for a little bit of cheeky damage here.
Alright, trying his best to still get that anything kind of harassment going. The Roaches haven't gotten aggressive at all yet, just quite. They are moving across the map now with 5 of them. It's not too much of an intimidating force. I'm pretty sure, yeah, we have 2 siege tanks there already as well. So these Roaches, maybe they'll deny the 3rd base from flying over for a little bit. But I wouldn't expect it to do much more than that. Yeah, moving back already.
Yeah, he's being very cautious with them, which is fine because you do have those 2 siege tanks there, and there wasn't really that many of them. So, I mean, I kind of like this fire transition. I don't know why. Like, I think mutas would actually just be fantastic because BYUN is one of those players who likes to go for these small little double prong harassments, 1 or 2 medevacs. And what that muta count will allow Dark to do is really just avidly deflect those, meaning BYUN's going to be really forced back if he can't get any damage done.
Yeah, it's just one of the things, right? A little bit of an Achilles heel, maybe perhaps. BYUN's strength really is in doing the harassment, right? Multi-pronged harassment, stuff like this. And if you stop that from happening, you're absolutely right. That is a big deal for BYUN. His strength isn't in the macro. It really is just in controlling his units, the micro, continuously trading. So he's going to have to change his game a little bit. He can always try to just go for straight up trades, right? Where the Mutalisks don't shine as much. But yeah, he needs to, of course, realize this and kind of change up the way he approaches the overall offensive here, if he wants to keep it up.
Yeah, I think Dark has a really solid late game as well, and that's one of BYUN's biggest issues, is that, like you said, he relies on that harassment, he relies on that drone damage, and he just relies on kind of whittling you down in the early to mid game, that sometimes he does sacrifice that later stages of the game where he'll just be going pure bio, no tech behind it, because he doesn't have it set up. So, I mean, if Dark can survive, that's going to put him in a really fantastic position, and already he's going to get a couple of mutas out to delay that 4th base, which is pretty nice. But on the other side of the map is the big question here, as BYUN starting to move in, being very cautious not to outrange those siege tanks, just fighting on the edge of creep, pushing that back to get to that really nice SCV siege tank location up by the 3rd.
Alright, yeah, moving forward, encroaching upon quite important territory here. There is that Baneling Nest. Imagine if that gets blown apart before the Baneling speed actually completes. I think that could be about as devastating as losing Stimpack around this time period. I mean, especially because we see more of a commitment there onto the Ling Bane Mutalisk, as we see 20 more Zerglings in the production tab. This could be scary. BYUN not pushing the issue just quite yet, though. I'm not sure if he realizes that this is the case, that there is this opportunity here, but then again, he's, you know, can't just push onto creep nilly-willy either, can you? Alright, Baneling speed does get completed, so this is an opportunity now for Dark to perhaps make something happen here. He's already gotten rid of the rocks, so a good opportunity perhaps to get his attack coming in from multiple angles here. And there we go, that is the engagement right now. Is it going to be enough? That's a lot of Marines still remaining, and a lot of Banelings actually connecting onto the siege tanks on the top side, so yeah, Dark not quite being able to push this backwards.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem. He did get rid of some of those siege tanks, but BYUN is still entrenched in that position.
Moving
further forwards. While you narrate the fight, I'm gonna fix the microphone.
Alright. So here we go, the Marines pushing into Zerg territory. Once again, the siege tank still quite the hassle on the backside. I think we've lost all the Mutalisk. So there's no potential for the Mutalisk anymore to come in from the backside and get rid of those siege tanks. That would have been a great boon here for Dark if that was something within his arsenal to do. But unfortunately, not quite going to have that be a potential blow to this attack right here. Otherwise, even just the threat of those Mutalisks, you know, even if it's only 6 of them, it would force multiple Marines to stay backwards, making it a lot easier for the Roaches and the Zerglings here to keep trading somewhat more efficiently against these Marines. But right now, it's just a big ball of Roaches and Ravagers against the Siege Tanks in the back and the Marines on the front. And the Marines already dish out quite a bit of DPS, continuously being healed. And yeah, that is just making this such a painful time for Dark. He's lost his Baneling Nest as well, by the way, so he's having to remake that. Losing 1 medevac. That's alright. That is okay. He did manage to slowly whittle down the siege tank count, though, with the Ravager Biles. So that is going into his favor. And actually, it does look like he may... well, actually, no. There's so many more Marines now coming in. He's only making Roaches, though. That's the surprising factor here. I would love to see a couple more Banelings being mixed in, but that is just not the case. Alright, that seems like it's going to be his downfall, perhaps, here. Just not having those Banelings anymore against the Marines. Though, once again, he's just barely holding on here. Really love to see the units lost count for the fight. Let me take a quick look. And, yeah, you can see a clear advantage here for BYUN, but at the same time, Dark already established a 5th base and a 4th base, so he is he's in a position where he's allowed to be a little bit less efficient. Although it looks like BYUN with the mules so far has been kicking it back on that income advantage as well.
It's really dicey for Dark right now. I mean, just the fact that he's only on 60 workers, he's having to expend a lot of larva to get that back, and like you said, he's barely holding on, which is fantastic. But, I mean, his army is... He's falling behind BYUN. BYUN's getting those engagements that he needs. He's going up to the 4th base, the 5th base, and it's really just kind of this death by 1,000 cuts situation where I just don't know how long Dark can really stick with this composition. He's gonna need some additional tech. He's still not on Hive tech. It's 12 minutes into the game, so I mean his upgrades are gonna be delayed big time. This just gets better and better for BYUN as time goes on.
Yeah, that's a good point. He's still only on +1/+1, and that's, well, mainly also because those Evo Chambers got sniped together with the Baneling Nest, so... I mean, only now he has remade them, but that is still a hassle to deal with. Alright, here we go, another engagement. The Biles trying to land on top of the siege tanks. A very good concave for Dark. Is that going to be enough? It looks like it. No, well, on the left side, he is getting rid of the siege tanks. The bio is still here. Reinforcements for Dark is going to have to come in and try to deal with this. But again, no Banelings, so yeah, just not enough. GG is called. BYUN takes game number 1.
Yeah, that is a fantastic play there from BYUN. He really was able to kind of just play his style. And now, I mean, the thing is, it is now a pretty much best of 1 for both of these players because BYUN does go up to match point with that since it is only a best of 3. So, I mean, what do you really do here as Dark after kind of getting outclassed there?
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen Dark do this more often recently in ZVT. I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of it, but the Roaches, right? The Roaches, they're quite beefy, but they just don't seem to really dish out a good punch. And it allows the Terran to just kind of stick onto pure Marines. Doesn't have to get too many Marauders, even though you'd think, you know, Marauders should be really good against the Roaches. It kind of has that tipping point, right? When after a while you get to a certain supply, you just have so many Marines because they're smaller, stocked up on top of each other. The DPS just skyrockets all of a sudden, and the Roaches a bit more clunky, a bit more beefy. They have trouble dishing out that same DPS as quickly as those Marines, and then, you know, things start to snowball very quickly for them.
Yeah, we're actually going to be going on to Death Aura for our next map, which, I mean... We have a slight Terran lead in terms of map wins here, so it's gonna, like, I don't know, whose map pick was this actually?
I think it was Dark's, but that is just off the top of my head. I'll be able to check it out later.
Yeah, because if Dark chose this map, then he might be wanting to go for the later game, kind of just force BYUN into that situation where he starts to fall behind, because we actually saw BYUN focus completely on the on the attack part, he actually didn't go up to +3 at all. Like,
No,
ever.
even 2-2.
He did have 2-2 actually for that last couple of minutes.
Oh, okay.
I think so.
Fair enough.
I don't know. I was fixing a headset.
All right. Anyway, in the bottom right side, 1 point on the board. The teamless Terran, BYUN.
And his opponent, the blue Zerg, lovely in his play. It is Dark.
Getting himself again a quick hatchery here. BYUN, I mean, could this be him actually going for a Reaper this time around? We'll have to wait and see. He does it sometimes, right? Sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like a unicorn, though. You never really expect to see it until you stop looking for it.
Exactly. Could just be a quicker factory attempt as well, of course.
Yeah. You know, we might even see him just go for that very fast reactor as well. We'll have to see, because remember, he didn't really go for Hellions too aggressively in the last game either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he made a couple of them, right? Just a bit of pressure, but nothing significant. Just clearing some creep. And that is one of the strengths of BYUN as well, to be fair, in these types of situations. Very often you see Terrans overextending, getting overly aggressive, and BYUN, one of the players that knows, alright, well, this is, you know, my opponent, he did prepare enough. I'm not going to throw away these units cost inefficiently right now. I'm going to retain them, and I'm going to try to utilize them in a later point.
Yeah, I love that from him. I just love that from him, because I was casting a replay of his just the other day, and I saw that he made about 10 Hellions, and not a single one died, so he just added them into the army, and the opponent really couldn't even just deal with that because of how committed it was. And yeah, like you said, using those units in the later stages where you really don't expect the utility as much is just fantastic play. No one really expects it.
He's just bored when he doesn't have 6 things to micro at once. That's the thing about Micro Jackson, as they call him. Let's see, is he doing the exact same builds here? You've never heard about Micro Jackson?
I have not heard that yet. That is a new one. I love it.
Yeah, Micro Jackson. I'm not sure who came up with it. Somebody in the chat suddenly said it. I'm not sure if they came up with it or it's just a thing that a caster said at some point. But, you know, it's a fitting nickname. It definitely is.
Oh, I definitely agree. And it looks like Micro Jackson, I'm going to be using that a lot more now, is going to be going for a very similar opening here with the 1 medevac going in. We've got the 3 Hellions as well going to be moving across the map. And yeah, he's going to try and do the same thing a little bit more open, so he might have a better opportunity to do so, since there are a couple different ways that you can get into this base.
Yeah. This time around, it's already a bit different, right? He did go for the Hellions further forwards, not waiting for any type of medevac support or anything like that. He's going for a Banshee instead, actually, as well. Not really banking on the Marines at all this time around. And, well, actually, there they are. My bad. And, yeah, he's going to continue onwards with the Hellion production here.
Ooh, there's that armory. So this is actually going to transition into a little bit of, I can't say mech. BYUN does not play mech. That is pretty much known at this point. But, I mean, a little bit of a Hellbat timing would be pretty nice, because I don't really think Dark is going to be expecting it right now. Just seeing that BYUN was going for the same kind of deal with the 1 medevac.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Ooh. I think he saw.
Maybe. Got kind of close.
I mean, already I do like some of these moves out of Dark. He's got his 1/1 upgrade started up already, because he knows that BYUN is going to be delaying his. I think the army just finished up though, so we should be seeing that pop down. The medevac going down, however, is a big deal. That's a lot of power in this attack. We do see that Banshee going to be coming in as well, going to get a couple of cheeky kills before the Spore Crawlers are even started, though. And that's actually going to force the drones to the third base. If BYUN was paying attention, he can dive on that. Oh my god.
That got close. That got real close. I thought I saw more Spore Crawlers on the production tab. He made 2 of them, but apparently not in the right bases. That's always a problem. Only on the left and the right side, so the middle base definitely had a bit of an opening here. 7 kills already on this Banshee. Definitely paying for itself. The Hellions actually turning into Hellbats now as well. Coming in together with the Banshees. This is starting to get quite aggressive here from Mr. BYUN.
Indeed it is. I don't really think he'll get too much more done, but remember, there's actually no Banelings out right now. There's not even a nest. So it looks like Dark is actually just going to say, to heck with your units, I'm going to go try and do a little bit of a counterattack while the Queens hold down the front. And I mean, just looking at the supply here, 20 supply lead for Dark right now. Might not seem like the biggest of deals, but I think actually Dark is just going to try and win the game now.
Let's see. Well, he's getting the lay attack as well. I don't know. He's definitely trying to make something happen here with the links on the back door of BYUN, but maybe that is more so him trying to just deny any further aggression, try to slow down whatever BYUN is doing at his own base, right?
Yeah, that's true. That definitely could be the case.
I guess the Zerglings also, they don't do anything against Hellbats anyway, so you may as well try to utilize them in a different way. It's a nice bit of trying to be cost efficient with what you've already spent, right, on your money, with your money.
Yeah, and I mean, right now we do see the Banelings going to be coming down, the Queens hanging out in the back just to take care of the Banshees, but they have morphed back into Hellbats. Oh my god, this Bane bust. Is this 2016 again?
He's getting some work on those Banelings, getting awfully close. There we go.
Okay, that was worth.
More Zerglings in production right now. Dark's like, alright, well, wait a moment. That went pretty good. Let me try that again here.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, definitely. Oh, no.
Also,
yeah, now I'm a bit worried.
BYUN 41 workers versus 60. Now, to be fair, he is one of these Terran players that somehow seems to be okay on a lower worker count than you would expect to be okay for a Terran. Just because he's so cost efficient with his units sometimes, but right now it's not really the case, right? They trade kind of equally, so could be a scary thing regardless.
Yeah, like actually looking at it, I think he's gonna be a bit okay, but it's just this problem of Dark. He's now gonna be a little bit untouched for a couple of seconds here while we. Okay, yeah, this is a bit of a Hail Mary play from BYUN. He knows he took a lot of damage, so he wants to kind of return the favor before Dark gets a little bit too far ahead. And I mean, Dark's upgrades are pretty solid right now. We do have them at 2-2, about halfway complete to the 1-1 of BYUN. And I mean, losing the Metavax, that is a huge deal at this stage.
Banelings apparently also coming in again here. Only 2 workers lost this time. Nice attempt there by Dark, though. Doing that while he's also preparing the defenses back at home, you know. With those Metavacs, the thing is, you have to defend multiple locations, right? You have to make sure you have units at the third base location, and in the main base, there's a lot of splitting going on, and kind of figuring out where you have to send what type of units, and doing so perfectly, while still also getting everything in order for a bit of a counter-attack there. Okay, well...
Okay, well, he does pick up. Yeah, he picks up and gets out of there, and that's actually going to give him a little angle to clear up some of this creep. But, okay, what a mine shot. It's really nasty right there. But, I mean, we also have a ton of SCVs going down in BYUN's base right now. I think a couple more Banelings went in, so BYUN just really struggling to get that income up. It's double the income for Dark right now.
Oof. That is a bit rough. That is a bit rough indeed. BYUN, I mean, he is starting to finally really have some mining going on at his third base, but yeah, as you said, he just doesn't really have the infrastructure here. No SCVs, not enough employees, just kind of know how to get those mineral patches into the command center. And Well, he's still making some headway, right? He's still maintaining Dark on his own side of the field. Dark is on only 4 bases, so it is only 4 versus 3. But yeah, definitely BYUN here. He needs to just keep trading efficiently for a little bit in order to make up for that quite humongous economic disadvantage he's at.
Yeah, definitely. Getting a couple of these queens is nice because it kind of slows down the creep a bit. But now taking a look at this, Hive is about to complete. We've got that lurker den ready to go. We do have a small attack from BYUN coming in, but it's not really super 100% committed because I think he still has a couple of his forces back at home. But yeah, he's kind of just relying on these Widow Mines. He's got them in the back to help his retreat. He's trying to bait Dark into this position, and Dark is going to take the bait, and some huge Widow Mine connections actually just going to decimate a lot of these links, but there's just so many that BYUN has to pick up and get out of there.
Yeah, some nice target fire there on some of the Banelings.
Oh,
but
no.
Hydralisk here coming in from the other side, getting a full medevac right there as well. The attack on the right side, it was sitting there for a while, but couldn't quite manage to control everything at once here. It looks like is going to be able to get rid of a lot of creep, but look at that. The Queen Parade already here, ready to save the day. Got that purple carpets back around. And for cost efficiency, I mean, unfortunately, BYUN not been doing all too amazing. And at the same time as well, I mean, time is ticking here for cost efficiency because lurkers are coming up, and lurkers, we all know how cost efficient they can be. That is a terrifying thing to fight as the Terran. BYUN's gonna have to switch up his army composition here quite heavily in order to deal with those.
Yeah, and that's kind of the problem. He's dealing with a maxed out Zerg. He's got pure Marine. He doesn't really have too many upgrades on the production tab, just that concussive shell and the additional 3-3. Nice. I was watching those Widow Mine shots, so I lost my train of thought there. But yeah, he was so focused on getting that mid-game damage that he's really not set up for this stage of the game at all.
Nope. Yeah, it's definitely rough. I mean, the upgrades are coming in, but at the same time as those of Dark, I suppose we don't have any ranged upgrades just quite yet, so the Lurker's not going to be as devastating as they potentially could be. Still a little bit until they have the ranged upgrade as well. Did he actually... Oh, he got the burrow upgrade before the ranged upgrade. That is quite interesting. You don't see that very often. So Dark maybe playing into the idea that BYUN is a player that likes to be very aggressive, so maybe prioritizing the quick way to move those lurkers around instead of going for the you know, the range increase here.
Yeah, I mean, we do see that coming in now, but I mean, yeah, he's doing a good job of splitting up the lurkers as well. One of the big things about lurkers is that they're kind of immobile. Like, obviously those upgrades are really good, but you do have to get them in position before they're really useful. So as long as you kind of keep them separated, you are going to be able to cover those multiple angles. And just look at that range. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
I'm really worried for BYUN here, like
BYUN,
big time.
He's still just mainly with a Marine army, right? And he's fighting with a Marine army versus lurkers and banelings, zerglings. It's going to be rough. It's going to be incredibly rough. Funnily enough, if he still had those Banshees around right now, that would be quite something. But I mean, it would be quick for Dark, of course, just to make a couple of Hydralisk, and that would not be as efficient as possible. But you know, at least for a little bit, he would be able to push this backwards, just for a moment.
Yeah, I don't even think Liberators are really the way to go here. Just taking a look at this, we do see BYUN going to be going for a huge counterattack, just trying to kind of pull Dark back to his side of the map because BYUN's still only on 3 bases. But the Baneling connection is going to clean all of that up, and that was really BYUN's last big effort because he is just trapped in his base. Although, that's a lot of Banelings going down for not a ton of connections.
Yeah, but they did allow the Lurkers to get into a good position as well, and I mean, GG is gold. It was an uphill battle there for such a long time for BYUN. He really did his best, but couldn't quite succeed.
Yeah, but hey, you know, that is a win for the fans because that means we have a game 3.
That's true. That's true. Already pretty good tight series here, and gotta say, looking forward to seeing this game number 3 develop. Wonder how much of that came down to BYUN just trying to do as much as he did, right? I like the with the Hellbats and such, right? Because the Hellbats, they didn't do anything. And he was doing okay with the Banshee and the Marine drop with the Hellions. They were doing okay as well, right? They weren't getting massive damage, but they weren't dying. They were getting some creep spread denial, which is what they're supposed to do. Then going for the for their Hellbats, and pretty much all that it did was kind of open up the back door onto the natural and allowed Dark to just spill on through and wreck the day of our Terran player there.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that BYUN could have done right that would have made that game a little bit less painful for him.
Yeah.
But, I mean, at the end of the day, that was just really solid from Dark right there. He was able to deflect, and once you start deflecting as the Zerg player, that's when it gets really dicey. Just overall.
All right. So map number 3, we're loading into the lobby right now. Let me take a look actually as well as to who was... Okay, so Dafor actually was, in fact, BYUN's map choice. This is Dark's map choice, but to be fair, it's not really much of a choice because most of the other maps, you know, they're all vetoed out, the other ones, so... kind of what was left, right? It's going to be Lightshade. Lightshade, a map where we often see roaches, right? If we do see roaches from the Zerg, this map very likely to be the map. It's a bit smaller, quite open on a certain basis, so it's a good way to utilize those roaches. I don't think he should try to, but you know what? Dark, he likes his roaches, man. He likes his roaches. Maybe this is the way that he can prove me wrong, or maybe this is gonna be me being like, you see, he didn't use roaches and it went a lot better than if he... And then, you know, I don't know. Anyway.
Or it goes completely terrible for him, and then you're like, oh man, if he would have just used those roaches a little bit better.
Maybe he should have used those roaches.
Or maybe he's just gonna say, what's a roach?
Yep.
No, but I think, yeah, I think roaches are kind of one of Dark's units. You know, it's kind of like the 2-1-1 for BYUN. We kind of just expect certain things from certain players, and I think Dark is one of the players that uses roaches a little bit better, a little bit more too.
Yeah.
Kiri, I'm rooting for BYUN, but that's just me being a Terran player. Scrub.
I really don't mind at this moment in time anymore. I mean, Dark, it's always cool to see Dark do well. And I was a bit of a slump at myself as well, just seeing Dark not doing as well as you'd expect him to, right? Not really putting up good fights against players where normally you would be like, well, you should be able to beat this person. And we've seen him beat these people quite handedly in the past, but not quite getting there anymore. All right, anyway, loading up here, guys. Game number 3. Here we are. Lightshade in the top left side. The red Zerg fighting for the dragon. The Phoenix. The gamers. He is Dark.
And his opponent over here in the bottom, he is blue, but he is not sad. It is BYUN.
I sent BYUN a message again. I did bother him before we started this this game once more. Asked him how Korea was right now, and he said it's bad. And I said, is it cold? And he's like, many cold. And I was like, all right. Interesting.
You know what, man? I'm in Florida right now, and it was like 6 degrees Celsius last night, and
really?
I'm literally freezing right now.
Yep. Let me see. I'm not quite sure what kind of temperature we have for ourselves here. Kind of curious now. It feels cold, but you know what? Probably already has gone up a little bit here. It's not that important. Okay, it's 10 degrees right now.
Okay, that's not too bad.
It's doable, right? T-shirt weather.
Kozan, what do we have here?
I believe that is what we call a Dark Warren. That is... Dark Warren.
And I think this is the point where this is really dicey for BYUN because he skipped the scout once again. And he's actually going straight for reactor, which is going to help out just a little bit. But this positioning tells me that he wants to instantly switch that over to Hellions as soon as that factory's done. So just the fact that he has no idea that this is coming, this is going to hit really, really hard.
I've seen BYUN in this position a lot of the times, though. He's done it against Solar, he's done it against DRG, he's done it against Armani. Every single time he was fine. Maybe Dark is finally going to be the one that actually punishes BYUN for being this gosh darn greedy and not scouting at all, even once, with an SCV. Well, that's an unfortunate SCV movement there. But still, he is committed to finishing this command center. All he knows right now is, of course, that it is Zerglings. Could be that there's roaches behind this, but he doesn't know, right? So, probably if he did, he would be making a bunker here as well. Not quite going for it just yet, because, well, he doesn't know what else is coming up. Already 3 SCVs here going down. That is quite a bit.
Oh, I already see a little bit of a transition here from BYUN. Just the fact that he has...
Sorry.
What?
I was wondering.
I didn't see a third.
No, it's just that he's got so much money in the bank right now. I think he's still planning that.
I'm actually surprised that we haven't seen the third CC just yet, but you know what? BYUN is a little bit surprised to see these roaches as well. You saw that he lifted up the factory, and actually the roaches are going to go underneath. Oh, that would have been really bad.
Yeah, definitely would have. Yeah. All right, this is going to be rough. I mean, he's trying to make a bunker on the high ground right now. That is his one ticket maybe out of this. Needs to get SCVs on the surround. He's going to take a lot of damage regardless of what happens here. Marines are going down. Yeah, I think this is just it. I don't see Micro Jackson dancing his way out of this one.
You know, though, Dark has actually started the transition.
He has, hasn't he? Well, I mean, he's already dealt the damage, right? He's killed, what, 9 workers? 29 versus 16 workers.
I know, I might be hoping for a little bit of OP muling, but yeah, I mean, Dark... He's put himself into a really fantastic lead. The thing is, he's not going to try and kind of overextend and kill BYUN right now. But what is BYUN to do? He really doesn't have that much. But you know, Dark did cut a lot to make this work.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was just, he did cut a little bit as well, but already throwing down those spore crawlers, I'm just like, all right, he's a smart boy, isn't he? He knows this game inside and out. It's like, what can still get to me here in this position? Banshee, probably, right? Maybe some Hellion run-bys, something like this. Hellion run-bys he should be okay against. He's got a good amount of queens. He's still got the Ravagers here. So, Banshees, right? Put down a couple of spores. And he's going straight up into Leia as well. Love what he's doing.
Oh my goodness. BYUN's just going to go for a Hellbat timing to try and win the game. He's got the armory down. He's got the cloak going to finish up. A couple additional Banshees going to be coming in as well. I think that's his best bet because there's not going to be any Banelings out. There's not really that many Roaches either, so he's going to have to deal some massive amounts of damage with this. But you know what? It's BYUN. There is still a chance.
There's always a chance when it comes to Micro Jackson. Oh, Zergling's already rotating around, though, it looks like, trying to hide their presence. Could be a good thing here for BYUN overall. Okay, Zergling's arm coming back around. Bit disjointed now. The Banshee's already dealing quite a bit of damage onto the initial couple of units. The lay attack is about to finish up, but, I mean, there's not really a good chance he's going to get much out of it just quite yet, right? No Spire. Any upgrades like Roach Speed also going to take a while. Alright, here we go. One Queen goes down. Targeting the Ravagers and the Queens here with those Banshees. Quite important units.
Oh, but yeah, BYUN's natural is under fire. He's going to be losing those SCVs, and the Hellbats now starting to fall. The Roaches are still in that position where they're fantastic versus Bio, and I think this is going to be death by 1,000 cuts, but if he could get that base, I would say that this is a lot more doable, and he might just sack this Banshee to get it. But I don't know.
This Banshee's got a very important mission right here. It's gonna have to shoot this hatchery about, like, maybe once, twice.
I just hear Mission Impossible music coming out, but I don't want to get DMCA,
Oh,
so
three times? There
I
we
won't
go.
hum it.
Lovely, lovely.
Alright.
Does get it, but, I mean... it's not looking good. Not looking pretty.
Not at all. I mean, BYUN's almost double. I mean, Dark's almost double the supply right now, and yeah. Well, what is BYUN making? A Marine.
Yeah, he's got a Banshee, you know. He's got 2 Banshees.
Yeah, a Banshee.
It's, you know, so it is quite the rough predicaments he's finding himself in. But getting that 3rd base of Dark, you know, maybe that is going to bring him something here. Let's take a look at the income. I mean, the income difference right now, not that massive. BYUN manages to do one more really solid move, maybe, right? Maybe, but he needs to once again find that damage, and didn't manage to achieve this the previous game when we were hoping that he would, and I don't know, is he going to be able to do it this time around? It's a rough call.
Very rough. I mean, Spire, Baneling Nest, Dark up on that 60 plus drone count, while BYUN's just holding down 45. It's just really hard to say how he can really find that damage done, because he's only just now starting to ramp up production, and even then, it's only 3 racks right now at 8 minutes in the game.
Yeah, he did get that 3rd base. Still needs to make it an orbital, but
If he wins this game, I'm gonna go find a hat and then eat it.
I mean, apparently Boy Fantasy is also going to sub to our Trovo channel, so I really hope that it happens.
Okay, let's just tell Dark to throw then.
We want Pasta to eat the hat. Come on.
Yeah, I'll make it. I'll make.
What kind of a hat? What kind of hats do you have laying about here?
Let's see. I have an old OSC hat. I've got some old baseball caps. And then I got like the ones they gave me for the 24-hour fitness sponsorship way back in the day.
Alright, alright. Would you want to eat a new hat or like an old hat though? That's the question, right? And the old hats might have more, like, dirt in
I like
it
to
and
think
stuff.
of it. I like to think of it as a fine cheese. It just gets better with age.
Alright, fair enough. Okay, well, I mean, let's see. Did that Pasta just give BYUN a fighting chance with this statement? Maybe, maybe. We've seen this work out in the past as well, haven't we? People did have to eat some shoes.
He is recovering a little bit. He's got +1 upgrades. He did add on the additional racks, so he can go up to that +3 economy, but this is just going to blindside him right now. Does he even have stim?
Okay,
is
yeah, he
the
does.
question. Okay, he does. So he's going to be a little bit better off.
Pushing this backwards. Only 4 SCVs going down there. I mean, I say only. It is quite a bit with the predicaments he's in. But it could have been a lot worse. He's doing nicely. Keeping those Mutalisks at bay.
Yeah,
Like his
this is going to keep him at home, though. That's the problem. Like, he's got to keep the Marines at home until he can set up those missile turrets.
Yeah.
BYUN, you're a bad man, and I know you can do it, but don't do it because I don't want to eat a hat.
We're gonna hold you to it. I mean, it's unlikely. It really is right now, but I mean, BYUN, he's a miracle worker sometimes, you know. 2 benches here again, not really finding anything. Queen's already in position. 5th base for Dark in construction, as well, BYUN is trying to set up that 4th. It's not too far apart there. Let me take a look at the income advantage. Definitely getting quite red there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is red all the way through, and unfortunately, it's not the last game where BYUN was red, so... But yeah, I mean, Dark is starting to max out, and now he can kind of just throw away a bunch of those lings with these small counterattacks that he's setting up for. He's got the Mutaball really growing in number. I mean, He's got 16 at the moment, and he's just going to keep that coming. He's picking off all the siege tanks as well. One thing you don't do is mess with a man's siege tanks.
Yeah, messing quite a bit with the setup of BYUN here. They see the resources lost stat also not really looking favorable here for BYUN. You have to be ahead on at least either the resources lost stat or the income advantage. You can't be behind on both. If that ever happens and you still win, well then, you know what? The game is just imbalanced at that point. It's just not supposed to happen.
Oh, indeed. We do see that hive going to be coming up as well. And once that comes down, not really that much else. BYUN is still stuck back to Thor. Gonna get a couple of nice shots. Not gonna be able to kill too much here, but I think Dark's just on the warpath. I'm kind of curious because he is just breaking down a lot of these rocks to help himself get a lot of better angles. But is that giving BYUN too much time is the big question.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, BYUN's supply here starting to get to a scary point as well, right? That's a good point. 110. And without any real Baneling presence here, necessarily. At least, do we have Baneling speed? Yes, we do. Alright, there we go. There's the Baneling
There
production.
you go.
Yeah, things can still get kind of scary here for Dark. I suppose there's no Widow Mines. That's a big deal here for him. So it is gonna come down to the control of the Marines, and if anyone has good Marine control, well, we know. Is it gonna be enough though? Needs a really good fight. Dark, I'm not sure if he wants to get aggressive here, but I guess he does. He has a reasonable bank in the minerals, not that much in gas though. Can he afford to make a fight like this happen in an entrenched Terran?
Yeah, I don't know, Kozan. He only got 4 workers with that, and there's still quite a bit of bio. But the problem is, look at that production tab, 108! 108 links!
Yep. that is 50 supply worth instantly just regenerated.
Yeah, and that's the big problem now for BYUN is that Dark can afford to throw away a lot of this because he has a huge bank. He can keep taking these fights, whittle his opponent down, and I mean BYUN's just stuck in this position where he can't even move out because that creep spread so far forward that Dark will see it hours before it even gets there.
If I was BYUN at this moment, I mean, I know I'm not BYUN, but if I were to give him any advice here, I think I would just say try to forget about the SCVs here. Just try to get your army up to 200 supply with as much army supply as possible. And just take good fights, and already the good fight's not really happening here. Already losing a lot of stuff. Oh Nelly. That is quite something. But yeah, you just have to get yourself the massive army here. The almost like 150 army supply. Then just start going across the map and trying to just be so cost efficient that your opponent, no matter if he does manage to remax instantly, right? Get all the production back on the production tab. It just doesn't matter because it's all mixed up. It's all coming in from different bases, and then you may be able to just kind of single it out continuously and get a steamroll going that with the momentum you build up. But yeah, if Dark just keeps killing off army units of BYUN this way, that is never gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at that bank, BYUN completely broke on 150 supply. He's making a ton of Marauders now. I don't think he actually had a lot with that fight, and that's one of the reasons the Banelings were able to do so much. But
16? Oh, 17. Come on, Dark.
Dark, you ruined it. All right,
So
but
close.
70 Banes, he's also going to be ruining BYUN's chance right now because, I mean, that's more Banelings than there are Marines at this point. 43 Marines, 70 Banelings.
Jeez. Okay, well, yeah, that is, that's going to be quite something here.
You know, the Muniball isn't that scary anymore, though, but I think Dark doesn't really care about it because he did just throw away quite a few of those.
Okay.
A small little drop. Yeah, small little drop, but I mean, that's like a percentage of BYUN's forces right now.
Surprised Dark never made the Ultralisk, Gavin, or anything like that, right?
As you say that, he throws it down.
Oh, there we go. It's only now,
Yeah,
but still, I'm surprised that he never went up to any type of a hive tech here. Just still sticking to the Ling Baneling.
I mean, if it isn't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, I suppose. Oh, this is rough. Oh, that is...
Oh,
two angles. Coming in hot. Here we go. That's the Baneling train coming down to BYUN Town. That is... You know what? Quite a bit of splitting, but it's just too much. It's just too much past it. There's no way. I think BYUN must know this now as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, the supply might look a little bit deceiving here. BYUN may look like he got out ahead, but he lost so many workers. He's having to rely on the mules for that production. And, I mean, Dark still has incredible amounts of money. He is literally the trust fund baby right now.
It's a shame. Even more units going down right there for BYUN. Yeah, this is just a man that we're slowly watching kind of burn to death or something like that. It is, it's a slow burn, a real slow burn, but it definitely is a man burning to death. That is what we're seeing right now. Ultralisk coming into play as well. As the final upgrades here coming in. Also a Swarm host apparently available somewhere. That's always funky, the single Swarm host.
Yeah, the misclick Swarm host, that now he's going to try and get some damage done with it.
I feel like,
just to make it worthwhile.
I feel like people need to just on the hotkey, or put a different hotkey for the Swarm host, because you see this way too often. It's not any other unit either, it's always the Swarm host. It's not like you see accidental the single Infester, you know?
Exactly.
Or like a single Corruptor, it just doesn't happen. It's always the Swarm host.
I mean, with how fast these guys are clicking, I'm surprised they don't accidentally buy something online while they're playing. Like they just have an Amazon tab open, and they accidentally buy like a giant 6-foot inflatable pool man.
Alright, here we go. Another big engagement happening actually. There is some snipes trying to happen onto the Ultralisk, but have to run back as well because of the ghost, of course. You know what, actually, BYUN still holds on here, surprisingly enough. Maybe able to clear out the bases on the top site now as well. He's definitely bought himself a bit of time, but 138 Zerglings once again in that production here. Dark, I mean, is he still trading cost efficiently? He's not really, so maybe if we keep going like this, maybe? I don't know.
There is a lot of room to go. Honestly, I don't think at this point you even wait for the Banelings to morph, just because that would give BYUN a little bit too much time. I like these positionings. Like, I love these positionings for BYUN. Like, he's just taking a bit of a better engagement every single time, but there you go. That is it.
That is it. Alright, GG is gold. Dark takes the first series.